The Woman Tells. For those of you whom are not already following me, you can follow me at Ask Carla underscore on Instagram, on Facebook at Ask Carla, and my website is askcarladl.com. There you can check my sneak peek out on my novel, The Woman Tells, and you can also purchase it. It's available for purchase. Tonight, I am so delighted to have a very special guest, Mr. Louis Carr, president of BET Sales and Media. Mr. Carr has been with BET for 35 years, 19 of those years as president of media and sales. During his tenure, Louis has generated over $8 billion in sales. That is phenomenal. He has transformed the multicultural space for some of the world's largest brands, as we know. Mr. Carr founded an internship foundation over 19 years ago, and this was to help improve diversity in corporate America through paid internships. This foundation has provided 188 paid internships in which 50 alumni now have full-time positions within the industry. How great is that? Louis, from what I know, has always been committed to giving back. He launched his latest brand called Waymaker, and I am extremely excited because tonight we are going to learn from the man himself exactly what is Waymaker. I can't wait to hear about it. Mr. Carr purposed this initiative to help provide direction, wisdom, and inspiration to people wanting to grow their life and change the world. He's done so many things. Louis Carr currently serves on the Cedar Fair's board of directors. He serves on the Drake University Board of Trustees and the United States Track and Field Foundation Board that he does. From my understanding, he was quite the high school track and field guy himself. So you can follow Louis at I am Louis Carr on Instagram. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the legend, Mr. Carr himself, Louis Carr. Please join me in welcoming him. Let's get him on this show right now.
Hey,
Hello,
how
hello.
you?
Welcome. Mr. Carr, welcome.
I'm
I am
doing good.
doing great. How are you this
Doing good.
evening?
Carla, this
You're doing
must be
good.
special. I went and got a haircut for you. All right. And my hair hadn't been cut in about 3 months. So we're looking like, who is
Oh
that?
my
I haven't
goodness.
seen him. I mean, I had like, the old man fro. Okay.
The old man fro? Wow. Well, I got to tell you, it looks
That-
great. Definitely on camera. You look good. So, Mr. Carr, I just want to say I appreciate you so much. And I know that this audience that's here, that's watching, really appreciates you being able to come on and share some knowledge with us, drop some nuggets. And I'm really excited to hear about everything that you're going to say to us tonight. So with that being said, I'd like to just start off with my first question to you. And I'd like to say, what have been the key things to having such a long career? 35 years. That's a long time.
Carla, you can bet it's a long time. And, I must like you because I don't like people to talk about 35 years because that says I'm old. But I've been asked that question many a time. And I would say there are a few things. Number one, I'm coachable. I listen,
Yes.
and I've always been coachable my whole career. Listening to people, consistently trying to learn, consistently trying to be better, and consistently trying to reinvent myself. And I think that's the key because nothing stays the same. Either you move forward or you move backwards. There's no same in play here. So the key for me for 35 years is being coachable, reinvention, always trying to be on the cutting edge of what's next. And that's why I surround myself with a lot of young people. Okay, so they tell me what to do and what not to do.
Oh, that is so great. I guess I need to get some younger friends then, because I'm
Oh,
like, I don't know, I may be missing the boat, but that is so. You're right. Man, so you have been doing what you do a long time. What things do you enjoy most about what you actually do? What do you enjoy the most?
Is that the job I have helped me discover my purpose. And that purpose is giving people opportunity.
Okay. Is there anything that you enjoy least, or it's kind of a challenge, or you have to work at it to like it for your job?
Well, there are a lot of things that I enjoy least, though. A lot. But giving people the opportunity that they have probably would never get without this brand of BET and the people that run the company is sort of the best thing that I love about my job.
Okay, there are many things that has happened in the workforce over the past 2 years with the COVID and everything like that. Can you speak to the labor force and the issues that entrepreneurs and companies are experiencing right now? Many people believe that the pandemic played a role in the workforce issues. What are your thoughts
number one,
around
the
that?
labor issue is real. People, because of the pandemic, have taken a different type of look at their life and their lifestyle. And a lot of people are starting to put their happiness, their flexibility, their families first. And it's probably the first time in many generations where we've seen something that impact how people think about how they want to live, what's necessary and what's not necessary. So, being able to work from home is a big issue. A lot of people like it. A lot of people like that flexibility, especially women. They like having the opportunity to, spend more time with their kids and with their families, and they want to continue to do that. I think the pandemic also brought out the creativeness in all of us to say, how do we, get things done, continue to be successful from home. And most people figured it out.
Okay.
And so a lot of people
Yeah.
are saying, if I can't have that option, I'm not coming back. I don't want to be there anymore. So I think corporations, managers, bosses, employers, whatever title you want
Hmm.
to put on it, are going to have to figure out how to be more creative, how to be more flexible, and make sure that they
More
understand the goals
flexible.
and objectives are the primary thing, not rules and regulations. So it's a different time, and we all are trying to figure it out.
Man, that's powerful. Understanding what's going on and not just being caught up on the rules and the regulations. I mean, that is so true. I know with you speaking tonight, you have mentored so many people and have helped them structure their path. Can you speak to a few steps or things you suggest that play a key role in setting them up for
Always be
success?
willing to learn new and different things. I think that's step number one. And for a lot of people, oh, that's
Okay.
difficult. People don't like that word reinvention. People don't like that word change. I have a lot of people work for me that
Hmm.
says, Lewis likes change for the sake of change. Yeah, they're probably right. I do. I think
Yeah.
constantly wanting to educate yourself about something new, challenging yourself is
Hmm.
always a big thing. You want to challenge yourself. You want to run at the difficult things, not run away from the difficult things. You also want to be preparing for the future, just in case that big opportunity knocks. So you want to sort of not have to get ready, you want to be ready. So always doing that. Learn
Yeah.
how to sort of engage and impact in any environments, just not the ones you like. Learn how to engage and have impact and influence in environments you don't like and environments that don't like you. Learn how to be able to sort of
Yeah.
be successful and engage in that. And also, as I said, learn how to play the game. The game is going to be played with or without
Yeah.
you, and understand that that's what
That's true.
happens. So you can be in the game, or as I said, you can be a spectator, uh, cheering for
On the
someone else
sideline.
who has your position or your job.
Yes.
So those are just a few things that I would say that will help you sort of have a long career and be successful.
Oh, wow. So basically, just learning how to assimilate is one of the keys to doing that. That is
I
so,
don't say
so great. I know
assimilate,
that we had a
Carla.
conversation.
No,
Not
because people
assimilate?
were like
Okay.
that one. People who know me like he didn't assimilate, right? But I would say understanding the rules of the game. When it's just I say it's just like an
Okay.
athlete. You look at football players or
Yes.
you look at basketball players. They understand the rules, even though
Hmm.
sometimes they will break
Yes.
those rules, but it's not unconsciously breaking those rules. I would say it's challenging those
Okay.
rules.
Okay.
So, but you've got to
Challenging.
understand them before you can abide by them or break them.
Hmm. Wow. That is so powerful. I hear we had a conversation, a week or two ago, and we were talking about, just the workforce in general. And we were talking about some of the young people. And one of the things that I guess came up in our conversation was that young people say that they want one of the things that when they are seeking out employment or whatever else, they want to be respected. Can you give us some insight on this? Because I know you mentor and you do a lot of things with young people and help them to structure their life. Can you give us, us some insight on what it is in
They
depth?
want to be
What do
heard.
they actually mean by that?
They want you to listen. And
Okay.
that's one thing that I try to
Okay.
do is let them get it out, whether we agree or disagree. Don't cut them off. Now you're in big trouble if they trying to tell you something, you cut them off. They want to be heard. They want to
Yes.
be listened to. And I think once you do
Hmm.
that, then you have the platform to disagree. you have the platform to
Mm-hmm.
educate, you have the platform to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Because, sometimes, a lot of times, they're
Yes.
right. So you
Yeah.
have to hear them out to sort of get their respect. And I mean, not just give them the No, you really have to listen to them and
Mhm.
really hear their view or their particular opinion. And if they're wrong, be able to explain it to them why they're wrong in great detail. So I think that respect thing is listen to me.
That's huge. That's very huge. And a lot of them, not only do they want to be respected, I know a lot of them, just even my children, when talking to them, they have this thing where it's, they
Mhm.
want things right now. It's like it needs to happen right now. It's like, well, and I go through, well, sometimes it takes experience, it takes hard work, it takes this and it takes that. What would you say with
I
someone
don't
wanting
think
something right now?
there's anything wrong with wanting it right now. I think what they have to
Hmm.
understand is that in most cases, you have to put the work in to have it right now or to have it later. There's no shortcuts to the work. So if they can put enough work in to get what they want right now, go for it. But usually the
Go for it.
challenge is,
Go
Carla,
for
is
it.
putting the work in because I
I
ask
know.
people constantly define hard work. And I get answers that
Uh-huh.
no, that's not really hard work because everybody can do that. Hard work is
Yes.
working towards something that is so difficult
Hmm.
that sometimes you wonder, can it be accomplished? That's hard work. When you
Hmm.
wonder, can I
Yeah.
continue like this? That's hard work. When you wonder, do I have the capacity, whether it is physical, mental, or emotional capacity, to stay focused to achieve the
Hmm.
work? When you don't have motivation,
Yes.
but you have to have discipline because you have no motivation. You just have to have, that's when discipline takes over.
Hmm.
When there's no motivation, but I still do have my discipline. I was talking to a world
Wow.
class Olympic athlete, and I was asking him, how do you stay motivated during COVID? And he said, Mr. Carr, I'm not motivated at all. I'm just disciplined. Bingo, bingo.
That's huge. Wow. Because when you don't have the motivation, at the end of the day, the discipline
Absolutely.
will make you do it anyway. Motivation, if you run out of that,
If you
then
don't have
you're
motivation or
done,
discipline,
so
you're in bad shape.
that is so huge. It's got, yeah. I have a question that popped up here. It says, what advice do you have for the college grad who is having a difficult time getting into the field of their major? What
Talking
advice
about
would you
been
give
there,
them?
done that. Been there, done that.
And write a
Yeah,
book.
getting a job is a process. There is a formula. It is a numbers game. And number one,
Hmm.
number two, it's timing. So a lot of
Okay.
students of color, we don't start looking for a job until after we graduate. Wrong, wrong. When you go back, you have to start thinking about that job your sophomore, your junior year. Where do you want to work? What do you want to do? That's when
Hmm.
your internships start kicking in. And then when you get to that senior year, that August and September, your senior year, start looking for that
Hmm.
first job. I mean, you really got to start leaning in. You got to start sending out resumes and letters. You want to have interviews set up when you go home for the holidays. Spring break, you want to have it done. At
Hmm.
spring break, you want to have it done. But
Wow.
if you miss all of that, you've got to work at getting that job like you're getting up, going to a job every day. You've got to be up early. You've got to
Okay.
be sending out resumes. You've got to be searching for who are the managers, who are the bosses at the different place you want to work in the different areas. You've got to be working relationships. You got to be
Yes.
calling around. Do you know anybody who works at XYZ company? Your job. If you don't
Mm.
have a job and you're a college grad and you want one, you got to be working 8 hours a day at trying to
Hmm.
get one.
Wow,
And I know
that's
that's
huge.
tough.
Yeah,
I know
because many
that's
times,
tough, so it's not easy. But you've got to go through that
yes.
process constantly. You've got to put yourself in an environment and a mindset that, hey, I don't have a job, but I'm going to put in 8 hours trying to find a job.
Well, that brings me to one question, and I guess it's an easy question because this is the new thing that I guess I've just started hearing it the last 5 years, is this gap year. Um, do you think that that's a good thing or a
Well,
bad thing, or
most
it's just a personal preference?
students who look like us can't afford a gap year, neither can their parents.
You're
So,
right.
and and those parents who can afford it, student probably still can't afford it. All right. We
Yeah.
are involved in a competitive world. So when you take that gap year, that
Hmm.
is a year that, what are you going to do during the gap year? Are you going to try to
Yeah.
get some type of life experience, or you're going to try to learn more? Gap year, I think most people think it's a vacation year. Let's not do that. I mean, because
Hmm.
ain't no money coming in. So students and parents to think about, is that what you really want to do in a competitive world like this? Because during that gap year, the job that you want, somebody else may get. The company you want to work for, somebody else may
Mm.
slide in and get that. So you got to think about that.
Yeah.
And the other thing, Carl, I
Yeah,
want
man,
to
that's
stress is
that's uh
that,
that's deep.
you want to start building work capacity early as you can. So, like when you come into my
Okay.
internship program, we do work you now. I mean, and that ain't by accident. That is intentional. We are trying to build that capacity, and that's capacity for physically,
Yes.
emotionally, and mentally. One of the things that people say that I have a strength in, I can stay in the moment to solve a problem. I believe probably
Hmm.
longer than most people. I can hang in that moment, and whether that moment is all
Okay.
day, all week, all month, all
Hmm.
quarter, all year, I can stay in the moment. But I got there from building that mental capacity to stay focused.
Middle capacity to stay focused. That is, I hope everyone that's on here that's listening, these are true nuggets to definitely building your career, trying to get a career, and whatever else you're doing around your career. These are really great things that Mr. Carr is saying. And that brings me to this question. Many companies feel, and this is a huge thing, and I know just I have a UPS store and we deal with them a lot. Many companies feel that Amazon have hurt the workforce, and the structure and, pretty much their bottom line because they're, taking away so many things. What are your thoughts around, the Amazon versus other companies? Amazon, is this a great field to go into,
Well,
or
clearly they
just what
are
are
a
your
growth
thoughts
company.
around that?
That is no doubt. When you look at the many things that they have, not just their delivery service, but their streaming service, and Whole Foods, and
Hmm.
everything else. So clearly they are a growth company. I think, and I've never worked there. I've had people who worked for me left and went there. To be to be,
Okay.
to
Me
be
too.
honest, clearly they have
Yeah.
connected to something that they believe that young people want. I think we see that in their advertising, where
Mm.
there's one commercial where
Okay.
the young man says, I want to work from home, and they go, check. I don't want to work 40 hours a week, whatever, check. I want someone to help me pay
Check.
for my college education, check. So clearly they are listening. Now, whether they follow through on those promises, I don't know. But clearly, based on
Mm.
their communication to the consumer and workforce, they are listening.
Yes, yes, definitely. Because so many people, I'm going to work for Amazon. I had a couple to come into the store this week, and they were saying that they were setting up a logistics company because they were going to be delivering for them. I'm like, okay, good luck. I
And they
wish
were
you
in your
well.
UPS store telling you that,
So,
right?
Yes, they were. I'm like, okay. I was notarizing something for them and they were like all excited. And I'm like, okay, well, come back and see me and let me know how it's going, So, with all of that, when we work, we work for our families, we work to, build financial stability and so forth and so on. What are your views on long-term financial stability? Should we invest in stocks, bonds, investing? What
Well,
what
first
is it
step, you
that
got to
you
save.
recommend?
All right, you can't invest if you don't have no money. All right. So
We ain't got no
first thing, I
money.
think we have to have real intentional saving habits, meaning that it's part of a plan, it's
Okay.
part of an objective and a strategy. It can't be this happenstance like, whatever I have left over. So I think we have to start intentional
Hmm.
savings. I think you do that by having goals. Just to say I want to save money, but what do you want
Hmm.
to save money for? Is it for your children's education? Is it for a new home? Is it for retirement? So I think you have to really be very, very specific in your mind about why are you doing this? Is it saving because at some point I don't want to have to work? You know, and I encourage a lot of young people like you may want to retire early or do something different early or have options early. So start saving early. So I think that intentionality with
Yes.
goals and objectives is the first thing you want to start. And whether you get enough money to start investing in stocks or cryptocurrency or whatever the case may be, just take the first step and
Hmm.
start saving with intention.
Okay. Savings account. That's great because a lot of people don't save and they just think that, I'm gonna do this right now and I'll just figure out tomorrow later. But sometimes that may not be the best
Correct.
thing the way things are going. So with that said, I know we have a few more things to get to. I wanted to ask, are there any final thoughts that you want to give around the subject of career
Well,
to our
the first thing
listeners?
I would say, and I've been blessed. Uh, I would say I didn't have a lot of vision for a career. I just ran into vision makers, people who I
Mm,
call them waymakers, who saw something in me, Carla, before I saw it in myself, who saw potential in me before I saw it in myself. I wanted to go sometimes to the left, and they said,
wow.
no, maybe you need to go to the right. And it kind of worked out. I've had a lot of
Mm,
people come into my life and do that and continue to do that for me. So I would say have some vision for yourself, and be intentional about that and really sort of evaluate your
mhm,
strengths and weaknesses. Most times we don't know what we want to do, or sometimes what we're capable of do. Well, start with
mhm.
what you don't want to do. What you don't want to do. I tell all my
Yeah.
interns, use this opportunity to have an experience and learn. If it's only what you don't want to do, all right?
Right.
But learn. So I would say that the first thing I would tell people, focus, have this vision, and understand that no matter what you're doing, you have to put in some work. I can't stress that enough. You're going to have to
Yes.
put in work.
You have to put in the work. Have to. Thank you for that. So we are going to move on to another topic that I'm always talking about on panels, and that's around relationships and marriage and everything. So, Mr. Carr, I know that you have a very beautiful wife, and you guys have been together quite a long time. So, can you tell me how long have you guys actually been married?
35 and a half years now, Carl.
There is hope.
Yeah, yeah.
There is hope. You are a beacon of light for a lot of
35 and a half.
people.
Yeah.
35 and a half. Okay, so when you selected your wife, what were the things, you guys had to select each other, but I'm talking to you now, so I'll ask you this question. What were the things that stood out about her that made you say, this is the one for me, that made you choose her? What stood out about her?
She was nice. I mean, I'm just being very honest, just nice. overly nice.
She's nice.
You know, I've been around the block a few
Okay.
times, I'll say. But when you meet
Okay.
someone whose personality, their intention is just to be a nice person. You know, when I introduced her to my family, she was just super nice to them. And, you know, even
Okay.
today, when you talk about better half, even my family says she truly is your better half. You know, I tease them all the
She's
time.
better.
You like her more than you like me, and they don't hesitate. They say, "Absolutely, absolutely."
Oh,
Uh,
wow. Sounds like you're talking to my
I
family.
said, "Yeah, no, we do like her better than we like you." And I think having
Hmm.
that niceness, that caring, uh, you know, it just went a long way. I mean, I recognized it immediately, even when I was that person that,
Hmm.
you know, I didn't deserve niceness. She was still nice to me. There was
Didn't
some
deserve.
times and moments I didn't deserve
Okay.
that, and she was still
Wow.
nice to me. So you know, and you
Yeah,
know,
she's
she ain't
steady.
she wasn't bad looking either. So you know, being nice and now, you know, that
She's
goes a long
beautiful.
way. Yeah.
Yes. So with the marriage, you know, a lot of people talk about, you know, both parents are working or both of us are working, you know, you do this, you do that. What do you feel are the roles of a wife or a husband,
So,
or
Carla,
wife and a
this is
husband?
something I learned over
Are there
years. There are no particular roles. There are no roles. You just got to get
there are
stuff
no roles?
done. You know,
Okay.
and in my house, you know, there are no roles. I wash dishes. I clean the house. As a matter of fact, I debate with her that I'm a better house cleaner than she is. We debate that all the time. I'm a better ironer than she
Yeah.
is. Yeah. I'm a world
Ironer.
class, Olympic
Okay.
class ironer. I have special irons that I have. Dishwashing, you know, we can go head to head on dishwashing. You know, we have a lot of dishwashers in the house,
Okay.
but neither of us use them. We just go old school. Uh, I take out the garbage, she'll take out the garbage. It's just not, we just get stuff done. You know, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
You know, we have goals, and whoever is best at
Hmm.
doing that at that moment of time, we get it done.
I love
She
it.
cooks,
I
I
love it.
cook.
Just whomever. It's not you were supposed to do this or you
Yeah.
were supposed to do that. Yeah, that's great. That's great. How do you actually handle differences of opinion within the relationship? You know, if you guys, you know, don't see eye to eye on something, you know, you said is white, she
We have
says it's
one
black.
word,
How do you handle that?
whatever, and that ends the conversation. That ends it.
Are you guys
One word,
listening? The
whatever.
one
After we
word,
go back and forth,
whatever.
one of us just goes whatever, and that's done. It's over. I mean, you don't go any further. Just okay. We know that means okay. Stop it. Quit. No more conversation.
Okay,
But
no more
right, just move
conversation.
on.
Zip zap. You're done. So, what has been the magic to the marriage lasting so long? What would you say the magic is for you guys lasting so
Uh,
long?
I think we are supportive of each other's goals and objectives. Uh, you know,
Okay.
her whole world is about art. Her whole world. I mean, you know, I tease her who takes an art history
Okay.
book on an airplane, all right? Because you know they only weigh about 15 pounds. Uh, so who would take one on there? But that's
Yes.
her world. You know, everything is art. You know, she's an art appraiser and she belongs to art
Hmm.
organizations and everything. I support that. I
Hmm.
support that. You know, I just ask her not to
Yes.
spend too much money on art, but I know money will be spent on art. As I said, not too
Yes.
much. Uh, so I support that. She knows that I'm a workaholic, and she supports that. You know,
Hmm.
up until the pandemic, Carla, I traveled over 250 nights a year, every year, every
Wow.
year. And I got no grief for it.
Wow.
None. People just said that's impossible. No grief. There was only demands that I be home on the important days, like wedding anniversary, birthdays, holidays. That was it.
Yeah.
Everything else was like,
Yeah.
okay, good. Be careful. So yeah,
Wow. She's an angel.
yeah.
She's an angel. Wow. Because I know just through conversations and just, research and just, in general, family members, even, myself, whatever, and relationships that, that's tough, being apart or whatever. A lot of people say, I guess, you know, when you're apart, it just makes the heart grow fonder. But, that's a long time for 250 nights you're traveling, whatever. So you guys have a great relationship. And it sounds like you guys have a
Well,
really, really
I
good
would also say
understanding.
this,
And, most
Carla.
people strive to get
She's not the person that
that.
looks for me to make her happy. She's a happy person
Yes. Well,
without me. So she doesn't look for me to
okay.
like, I got to do this or I got to give her that or she's just a happy person without me. I mean, so she that's her natural
Wow.
instinct. Matter of fact, usually she makes other people happy, because she has this, she has this crazy personality. Uh, you know, as we all said, she needs her own talk show at some point in time. But she doesn't put that burden on me to, like, you make me happy. We have sort of
Yes.
what I would say is a 21st century type of relationship, serving one another.
Serving. There you
Serving,
go. There's a word.
it's
Serving.
like, you know, I was cleaning the house this weekend, and it wasn't no
Hmm.
big deal because, as I said earlier, I think I'm better at it than she is. And Carla, she doesn't
Okay.
give me the whatever on that. She just goes, "Oh, okay, right."
Okay. You got
She'll
it.
stick her hand in like, "You need any help?" I got it. She's like, "Okay, cool."
Wow. Wow. I have someone in the feed saying that is a God relationship. I agree. So beautiful. You're getting so many beautiful comments, man. That's awesome. With that, we, as a couple, we have our things that we do together. We know each other, and when we're together, we know the do's, the don'ts, or whatever else. But sometimes outside influences can come into play. What are your views on how to handle in-laws, friends? How should that be handled, with them kind of mixing into your
Well, I
relationship?
think it's a two-way street. First of all, people have to realize that when you get into a relationship, uh, you are in a relationship with a person who has several other lives, right? Uh, they have parents,
Okay.
or they may have
Mm-hmm.
children from a previous relationship. They've got friends.
Mm-hmm.
They've got
Mm-hmm.
co-workers, and you got to understand that all comes into play. Uh, they can't give up
Yes.
their parents. They, as you know, probably most people ain't gonna give up their friends. Uh, they can't give up the children from the previous marriage. They can't give up
Mm-hmm.
co-workers. So you have to understand that that's all in play. That's all part of who they are. And if you ask them to give
Mm-hmm.
that up,
Mm-hmm.
you're asking them to give away a part of who they are. And I think that's unfair.
Mm.
You just got to know they comes
Okay.
along with it. We all gonna do things that we like, and we're gonna do some things we don't like. Me and my wife have this thing. She'll ask me to do something, and I go like, "Do I have to?" And if she says yes, I'm like, "You're gonna owe me. You're gonna owe me, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
collect." Okay. So do I really have to do it? And she'll say yes. Okay, fine. I'm gonna do it. All right. And we laugh about it because if
Gonna
we
do
go
it.
to an event and we do something, I'm giving her the stare the whole time. Because you know I don't want to be here.
Are you looking at your
I
watch,
don't want to do
Louis?
this, right? And I'll ask her to do some things, and she's like, "Do I have to? You know I don't want to do that." And I'll go like, "Well, it'll be nice." And she's like, "Oh, it's gonna cost you." All right. So I think we have to understand that, we all have multiple relationships that we cherish.
Yes.
You ask someone to give
Mhm.
up their family member or give up their friend, it's usually going to be an issue. Now, if they decide that this
Yeah.
family member, this friend is just bad for us, you won't have to tell them. Usually they're going to give it up on their own. All right. But, I think you have to
Yeah.
be open to it. You've got to be careful as you sort of negotiate around that.
Yeah.
You had a life
Because you've
before,
had a
as a
life
matter of fact.
before, and you had a life before, so there are certain things that you guys have to talk about and just negotiate or whatever, just decide what's best for you and what's best for them, and just know that you are still individuals regardless of being married. So I love that. I love that. You mentioned other things, you people getting together, maybe have children from another marriage, or you may be married for a second time, whatever else. What advice would you give to couples that are struggling, that's in a blended
I think
situation?
it's a conversation and it's a negotiation. All right. Uh, when people say, give me some keys, Lewis, on how to stay together, I say, don't sweat the small things. I think we look for wins
Hmm.
and losses too much in relationships. All right. It's the small
Yes.
things. Everything is a negotiation. All right. I think you
Yeah.
have to be honest. If you're in a blended family and you got some bad kids, call it like it is. They bad. All right. Right. Don't be saying,
They're
man, they're the
bad.
greatest kids. No, they're bad. Yeah, I know. We're working on that. Okay. Help me with that. All right. Uh,
Oh.
if you got bad in-laws, just be like, yeah, I know, they some work. I know there's some work. Long before I met you, I knew they were work. Call it like it's. Be honest about it. You ain't gonna
Yeah.
walk away from them.
Honest.
You ain't gonna give them up. Just be honest about it and
Yeah.
understand that it's gonna take work to sort of get through it. It's just like life.
Yeah.
It's all work at the end of the day.
Yeah. Wow, thank you for that. So, with that, I am going to ask, is there any final advice that you can give on marriage, relationships, dating? What is just some takeaways that you would like to leave,
First
or
of all,
nuggets
start
that
off
you'd like
being
to leave?
equally yoked. All right. Have
Hmm.
some things that are non-negotiable, that you are the same, you agree on. These are the things that are equally yoked. And
Okay.
they could be big things and they could be small things. All right. But
Hmm.
when people ask me, like, what are some of the key things, is uh I love family. My wife loves family. She loved her family. She clearly loves my
Hmm.
family. All right. At the end of the day, uh, understand, what are goals and objectives in a marriage, and that's a journey. Like, what do you want out of it? I want a big
Yes.
house on a lake. I want a big house on a hill. I want a big house in the desert. You know, understand what are those goals and things that you want that are very important to you. I want the kids to go to XYZ college. I don't care where the kids go to college. I just want them to go to college. Have
Hmm.
those important conversations early so you can see where the emotion is. What are those things
Hmm.
that are so emotional that you're going like, maybe we ought to pump the brake on this. So I think sometimes we go into
Yeah.
relationships blindly because we just see beauty, or we just see and feel sex. Uh, you know, understand long
Yeah.
term. If you're going into a relationship for long term, you got to have some real sort of discussions and some real evaluations on what are the things that are important to you and what are the things that, you know, are important to your mate, spouse, or partner.
Hmm. Expectations, deal breakers, all of that
Absolutely.
should be
And just
communicated
because you
throughout.
disagree
Man, I love
doesn't
it.
make that person a bad person.
Yeah.
It means maybe you're not the person for me.
Okay. That's true. You just don't see it the same way, and you guys don't have the same
Right.
you're not taking the same road. So so your buddy here, Mr. Jory Lustard has joined, and he says great
Hey,
interview.
Jory.
So um so that is so great, and the things that you've said, I know that has been very encouraging, and we've gotten a lot of things through the feed. There is if you would allow me, there is a question someone sent through the feed.
Mhm.
It was back on career. They were asking something about internships. What are the steps to when people are looking for internships that they should take?
Call it Google. Uh, Google. You know, Googling is my thing. All right. You know, as I said, if they had had, you know, social media, the internet back in my day, man, I would have been super smart, super, super smart. Because literally, Carl, I Google every day. I mean, don't let me get on a plane. I'm just Googling
Me too. I
everything
do
that
too.
comes to
I
my
do too.
mind that I don't have an answer for. But there are a lot of
Google it.
internships out there, many more than you think.
Yes.
Start
Yeah.
early, start real early. And also, internships are not just in the summer. There are companies that have interns all year round. So make sure
Hmm.
that
Okay.
you are always looking and trying to be a part of somebody's organization. And also make sure that you are a good communicator, both in writing and your oral communications. A lot of interns, I'll tell you, we
Yeah.
throw out a lot of applications because they spell my name wrong. I mean,
Really? Oh,
like,
wow.
how
That
did
was
you get that wrong?
first thing
It's
that.
not like a difficult spelling. We just toss it out. Typos. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Come on, guys, come on. You know, have somebody else
Absolutely.
look at it before you send it off, all right? Because sometimes you're so in it, you can't see the typo. Just do some things like that. And when you
Yes.
have your interview, be prepared. Don't be hanging out the night before. Don't be sleepy. And don't do like a
Can you speak to dress code,
since we
please?
most of
Please, because you are one of the best dressed people
well,
I have seen. I will say that. Best dressed. Can you please speak to that?
what I'll say, presentable, however that is. All right. I think most people kind of know what that is. Uh, so come presentable. You
Mhm.
know, don't have your hair all crazy and you know, don't have your clothes looking like they just came out the dirty clothes hamper all wrinkled. Don't do that. And address them in a professional way. I don't know what I do to people. Maybe it's because you know I'm, as my
Mhm.
friends say, I'm so regular. But I've had people trying to get an internship. I'm like, yo, man, let me tell you. I was hanging out last night. I'm like, yo, chief, do I know you? I mean, I'm looking in the screen like, do I know you? You talking about yo, man? I'm
Yo,
like,
man. Yo,
maybe I
man.
know you. Do I know your daddy or something? Because how are you addressing me like that? You just met me. I don't know you like that, man. And usually I'm like,
Exactly.
sometimes I just shut it down and move on. And sometimes I'm like, you want to start this over? You want to start it over? Right.
Go out of the room, come back in. Yes. Wow. Thank you for that. So hopefully the person that sent that question, you got some answers to that. I'm sure you did. But tonight I have been when I went through your introduction, when I got to Waymaker, it's like I just got chills because I just think that this is just a phenomenal concept from, what we discussed a little bit that I did get to know. But right now, I just like to take the opportunity to ask you to explain, what is this concept,
Well,
Waymaker?
Carlisle started off like this. From a very, very young age, I realized that people were doing something special for me and that they didn't have to do, but more importantly, that I didn't ask them to
Right,
do. And it was always confusing to me.
right.
Why did that happen? Why are these people doing
Mhm.
that? Whether they were coaches, teachers, professors, employers, neighbors. And I realized something is going on here that is happening special. I've seen some of my friends come up on the feed who went to high school, and I didn't want to go to college. That wasn't a thing that I wanted to do. I
Hmm.
needed a job. And Carl, I wanted to work for UPS. That's what I wanted to do when I graduated. Yes, I wanted to work for UPS.
Really?
Uh, and God
Wow.
kind of blessed
Okay.
me with being an all-American athlete. And even after people explained to me that I could go to college free, I still like, but I need some money. I need some cash. Do I want to do that, or do I want to
Yeah.
go to UPS, or do I want to go to CTA, or do I want to go to the post office? Because everyone I knew who was successful, and we rated success back then. If you had grass in front of your house and you had a nice car, you were successful. And so that's what I saw.
Yes.
And people convinced me that I should go to college. So I had all of these offers to go to college, and then I got hurt, and all of them went away. They just went away.
Mm.
I mean, and I had a
Oh,
lot,
wow.
and they went away. And a guy
Okay. Wow.
who had went to Lane Tech with me was at Drake University, and he went to the coach and said, "You got any scholarships left?" And he said, "Yeah, I got one." He said, "I got a friend you need to give it to who lives in Chicago." And he said, "I never heard of your friend." He said, "Well, why don't you go see him?" That sounds crazy. Sounds like an unbelievable,
Hmm.
crazy story. All right. That a friend goes to a coach and says, "You need to get this guy a full 4-year scholarship." Back then, they were real. I mean, once you got them, they
Wow.
couldn't take them away from you. All right. And the guy comes
Okay.
to the Chicago Tribune and Chicago Sun-Times, gets these clippings of my performance, comes to my house, and offers me a full 4-year scholarship. Unbelievable, just crazy. It's a story somebody told me I wouldn't
Wow.
believe. Was a waymaker. Coach was a waymaker. I go to college absolutely free, absolutely free. So
How
when
many
I
people
think
can say
about
that?
how many times
Not
this has
many.
happened, uh, every job I've had in this business came from my best friend in high school. How does that happen? Every job, from Ebony Magazine to Black Enterprise Magazine to BET, he recommended me for every job. I didn't even know the jobs existed. So it was not like I went on a job interview and used him for a reference. He recommended me. And with most of them, I
Mm-hmm.
told him, "I don't want to do that, man." And he would say, "Don't be so crazy, Lewis. You're just so nuts. Go on the interview."
Yeah.
Interview well, because I got all those jobs, all right? So when I think about how many
Yes.
times, and Carla, I've counted it 19 times, 19 Waymakers,
Wow.
where people saw something in me,
19.
intentionally stepped in my path, turned me from one direction, pointed me in this new direction, and then stayed with me until I was successful. So
Wow.
it's been this yearning
That's
to
huge.
me to sort of give back. And when I think about what that
Mm-hmm.
was, it was people making a way for me. So Waymaker is this
Way out of no.
inspirational brand that will educate and motivate people to live their best life through
Mm-hmm.
stories of extremely successful people who didn't start at the top. They started a little further down. And that
At the
journey sort
bottom.
of led them to where they are today. I'm hoping that these stories of these people, some you may know, but mostly you probably will never know
Mm-hmm.
until you read their story in Waymaker.
Yeah.
They could be doctors, they could be teachers, they could be counselors, they could be entertainers. but these are people that are
Yeah.
making a difference not only for themselves and their family, Carla, but they're making a difference for their community. And
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm so excited about the Waymaker brand is because it gives me the opportunity to give back and try to do the same thing that people did for
Yes.
me, those 19 Waymakers did for me in my lifetime. So I'm super excited about it. And Waymaker is
Wow.
this quarterly journal. If you go to waymakerjournal.com, you'll see all of our assets from the magazine / journal to our podcast. And I've also rolled my men's platform, Blueprint, which was our annual men's
Yes.
conference that also educated and inspired men to be their
Mhm.
best self, which is now sort of expanded into a weekly podcast called Blueprint Connect. And you can get it on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple. So
Okay.
we've got this whole platform to try to give people education, advice, so they can be more successful than I am.
Wow. And how can people follow Waymaker? And
At
tell us how they
Waymaker
can follow
Journal,
Waymaker, the
you
podcast.
can get the podcast at waymakerjournal.com, but it's also on iHeart, Spotify, and Apple. Blueprint Connect, iHeart, Spotify, and Apple. And then you can go to our website, waymakerjournal.com, and see all of the content that we have. And coming next month is Waymaker YouTube channel.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see it. Wow, that's going to be huge. And they can
I
follow
am
you
Lewis
at
Carr
I am Lewis
on
Carr
Instagram.
on Instagram. I am Lewis Carr. Mr. Carr, I got to say, thank you so much. This has been phenomenal. And I just really appreciate you taking your time to taking out time to get on and talk with me and address, a lot of people were like very excited to get on here and hear from you, talking about marriage, career, and Waymaker. You have done so many things. You have mentored so many people, and we need more people like you. It's like you have just kind of paved the way for a lot of people. And earlier when I introduced you and when I said legend, you are a legend and you are here now. Many times we wait to speak of people when they've passed on, but I like to like acknowledge and give people their flowers while they're here. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart from getting on here. And everyone, please follow Waymaker, follow him at I am Lewis Carr. And I just like to thank you so much for getting on. I am Carla Davis Luster. This is the end of our show. You can follow me at Ask Carla _ on Instagram
So
and
Carla,
Ask Carla on Facebook. My website is
I got one more plug.
askcarladl.com. Yes.
Look for the Black History Month,
Please.
the Waymaker Journal. It has Bob Johnson on the cover with the title, He Wants You to Be Wealthy.
Wow.
And we have a story on the Luster Products family in that Waymaker Journal. So I got to give my shout out to
that Waymaker
Jory,
Journal, the Luster Products
Freddie,
my family,
and all the kids that are the next generation that's running that company. So it's a big feature in Waymaker Journal, and we talk about the Luster Products impact on our community. So please get Waymaker Journal, and really thank you, Carla, for this, and thank you, Jory, for being supportive.
I'm gonna
You're
get
gonna get a lot.
I know I and say hello to Diane for me. Thank you for your time. And I really appreciate this. You enjoy your night. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. This is Ask Carla. Take care. Bye-bye.